Hello and welcome to a new edition of Business Insider. Tonight, dear viewers, we'll be talking about the Egyptian-Japanese cooperation in the field of space technology. That is our main topic. But as usual, dear viewers, we begin with a look at the major economic stories making the headlines for this past week. And Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli hailed on Tuesday the launch of a platform for environment and climate investment in Egypt. The platform will be an e-gate for entrepreneurs, developers and supportive institutions. Madbouli made the remarks during the launch of the first Climate and Environment Investment Forum in Egypt, which is held under the auspices of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, with the participation of a large number of ministers, officials and representatives of heavyweight companies. Madbouli lauded the forum as one of the fruits of the 27th United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP27, which was held, of course, in Sharm el-Sheikh here in Egypt, noting that Egypt will benefit from the forum in following up on the progress realized so far in implementing the COP27 recommendations. Highlighting Egypt's efforts in this respect, he referred to the launch of the National Climate Change Strategy 2050, the updated plan for voluntary national contributions, as well as the first sovereign green bonds. He added that Egypt is working on reaching 100% green projects by 2030, referring also to projects for mitigating the impact of climate change, topped by Benban solar power plants, wind farms for generating electricity, water desalination stations, as well as the monorail and electric express train. And the General Authority of the Suez Canal Economic Zone, the SC Zone, has signed a cooperation protocol with a consortium of Dutch companies led by the Dutch-Egyptian Company for Business Development to expand the green fuel investments in the zone. This according to a statement by the SC Zone on September 12th. Under the protocol, the Dutch firms will establish green hydrogen production plants to directly supply various types of vehicles and export the green fuel to foreign markets. This came during a meeting between the SC Zone's chairman and a Dutch delegation comprising officials from the Netherlands Embassy in Egypt, as well as representatives of Rotterdam City and officials from the consortium. And Egypt will be launching the National Industrial Strategy in cooperation with an international partner on October 25th. Minister of Trade and Industry Ahmed Samir has announced. The strategy is set to link the Egyptian industry with the global industrial sector's variables. Samir also revealed that Egypt has prepared a draft law on industries benefiting from tax exemptions that will be presented to the House of Representatives in early October. The minister added that the Egyptian government will extend the tax exemption period for some private industries to 10 years instead of 5. That is it for the top stories segment. And dear viewers, time now for a short break. When we come back, we will be introducing you to our distinguished guests with us here in the studio, and we'll be talking about the cooperation in the field of space technology between Japan and Egypt. Stay with us. Welcome back, dear viewers, and thank you for staying with us. With us now here in the studio is Dr. Khaled Yussef, and he's the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Navigation Sciences and Space Technology at Beni Suef University. A very good evening to you, Dr. Yussef. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Dr. Yussef, dear viewers, allow us first to watch a report on our main topic for tonight, the cooperation in the field of space technology between Egypt and Japan. This by our own Abir Hussein and Rasha Abdelhamid.
The Egyptian Space Agency has signed an executive agreement with the Egypt-Japan University of Science and Technology, EJUST. This is the fourth institution it would be signing an executive agreement with. The agreement aims to provide EJUST with an educational satellite model for communication, remote sensing, and space environment applications. It would also strengthen research, development, and innovation efforts. EGSA seeks to strengthen its partnership with all universities to achieve its strategic objectives, which includes improving the depth of space knowledge in Egypt and contributes to the country's Vision 2030. Earlier, the Egyptian Space Agency has entered into an agreement with the University Space Engineering Consortium of Japan. This collaboration was done under the Technology, Innovation and Commercialization Office of the Egyptian Space Agency. It is an incorporated non-profit organization of Japan. In cooperation with the Egyptian Space Agency, the UNICES will contribute to the development of space engineering not only for both countries but also on a global scale in terms of mutual exchange of researchers and students, cooperative projects and capacity buildings by making use of the R&D potentials and the capacities of developing human resources already equipped with both organizations. Egypt and Japan have agreed to promote bilateral relations to the strategic partnership level, especially in education and scientific research. In 2019, the National Authority for Remote Sensing and Space Science has announced the launch of Egypt's second satellite, Type 1, from Japan to the International Space Station. In 2023, the Egyptian Space Agency announced that Egypt had successfully launched the Horus-1 satellite from the launch base in northwest China. This is also great cooperation between Egypt and China in the field of space and launching satellites, and we are also establishing a center for assembling, integrating, and testing satellites. The Horus-1 satellite is the beginning of a group of remote sensing satellites, and it is being developed through the full participation of a team of Egyptian and Chinese experts to localize satellite manufacturing technology. Horus-1 satellite is remote sensing and carries a high-resolution imaging camera on board, thus serving all the requirements of the Egyptian state's Strategic Vision 2030 and requirements of sustainable development.
Thank you for staying with us, dear viewers, back here with Dr. Khaled Yussef in the studio. Now, Dr. Yussef, Japan is a leader in the field of space, and surely there are many different means of cooperation between Egypt and Japan in that specific field, space technology. Could you give us the main areas of cooperation?
Yeah. Actually, Egypt has a lot of cooperations in the region with some key players, especially in the space technology. You know, space technology is a modernized technology, and now we are at the age of some new adventures in the space through what we call the democratization of the space. So now the developing countries is have some chairs in the area of space innovations and space applications, which is very important because we as a developing countries, we need the space for development of our resources, development of our economy. So as all of us know, space has two main key objectives. One is Earth observation and the other is space exploration. So what we are following the chapter of the Earth observation. So to do this, we need a reference to benchmark, we need a collaboration, we need protocols between countries to give us and to enable us to enter first this area, from whom we will learn because this is new for us, and then how to together, jointly doing innovations and doing research on the scientific basis, and also learn how to develop our curricula, our standards in Egypt to to follow a school, one of the schools which is very, let's say, modernized, very advanced in this area. So that's the key advantage and the key objective behind having such protocols with a country like Japan.
I know that you recently came back from Japan. I want to know also what other major countries that Egypt is in full cooperation with in that field.
We have cooperation with Russia, we have a cooperation with
France?
Italy and France, yeah, on the academic side and on the space mission side. We have cooperation with China, so we have several cooperations in the region and also in the area. Which is more or less give us advantages of learning how to develop our missions and also give us the benchmark. Where do we stand in light of the worldwide innovations in the space?
So where do we stand?
We from the, let's say, from the scientific perspective, we have a very good position. For sure not like the developed countries, but we have a good position for the second generation of country that is moving now towards space. From the capabilities we started, we are limited by some constraints, but we started. And from the educational side, we are in a good position as well, especially that, you know, we have one of the faculties and the school which is specialized in this. And this school is not away from also these interactions around the world. It is a part of these protocols. It is a member in this consortium of universities, which is UNISEC for the space engineering and the space education.
Right.
So,
and I believe the Japanese university in Egypt also plays a role in that
we have,
cooperation?
but the Japanese university here in Egypt, focusing on the engineering disciplines, the space. They have a lab now for the space environment. But the core specialty in the space, we have only one school in Egypt, and this school doing the protocols with the other departments in the School of Engineering, the School of Science. So this cooperation make what we call the synergy of the different aspects of space science and space technology through the calibers and the capabilities we have in our universities.
Okay.
So that's the.
You mentioned some constraints. What did you exactly mean by constraints? Are there financial constraints mainly, or other constraints?
We have for sure financial constraints. We have some technology know-how and technology transfer constraints, because this, especially the space science, has a lot of, let's say, this non-disclosure of the space technology. So you need to develop this. You need to do this research to be at this edge. So the constraint is not only the financial, the constraint is in the how. So to enter this area, you need to develop, you need to innovate, you need to learn, you need to go into cooperation. Even when you go into cooperation with other countries, you do not learn from them their technology transfer or the know-how, but you learn how you innovate. When you innovate, then you can start doing your own homework after that.
You're telling us that this is a world of secrets? I mean, some countries would keep the secrets.
Yeah. Space technology usually has secrets, but there is an area for commonalities, everybody work on it, and there is an area for technology transfer and non-disclosure of technologies, which is a secret of companies. When I was in Japan, for example, and we go for some labs to do some designs and that stuff, you are not allowed to use your camera, you are not allowed to write a paper, so that's normal.
Right. Now, I understood from your words that as far as developing countries are concerned, that Egypt is in the top of the league of developing countries in the field of space technology. Is that right?
Yeah.
And who else is with us in this? Yeah.
Emirates is doing a very good role in this, both on the education side and on even the space missions. They already, the case of Sultan Niazi, which is the astronauts that's coming from the space after 6 months stay in the space. I already commented on this with the Emirates TV. So, we have a lot of initiatives, great initiatives, but in my point of view, the leader on the scene today is Egypt and Emirates, if you are talking about Arabic countries. But you can imagine that when I was in my mission to Japan, for example, I find a lot of ambassadors from different countries. You can imagine
African countries, right?
countries. You can imagine that we have from Angola, from Zambia, from Zimbabwe, from Burkina Faso, from Philippines. So a lot of countries that you can imagine that they are not even developing countries, they are behind the scene, but now they are working together, having their space agency, they are working together, having their space mission. Some of them launch cube satellites. So then the space means that this is what we call the democratization of the space. The space is no more restricted to 2 or 3 countries in the world. The space is now open. So if we do not fight to have a good position in the space and a good position in this science and this technology, then it is irrelevant to our position as a country. Egypt is a big country, so that's the point.
Right. Now, Dr. Yussef, the Egyptian Space Agency, that governmental organization, must have a big role in trying to make strides in the field of space technology and in the cooperation with leading countries in the field, including, of course, Japan. Could you tell us about the role of the Egyptian Space Agency in those regards?
Egyptian Space Agency has a key role, like any space agency, which is how you can, first of all, develop a program, develop a mission, and manage this mission for a key strategic objective. So now we have several missions. So for sure, you have a lot of enablers, like protocols, like transfer of experts and that stuff. But now, for example, we see the Egyptian Space Agency having their very advanced labs that is used today to test and to develop the flight model of some satellites. So this means that they contribute, they have a plan, they have a program, they have an objective. As we mentioned minutes ago, even the secrets in the space, we need to innovate. There is cooperation between the academia and the research side and the space agency side. So this means, this is the role of the space agency, how to put the mission, how to put the goal in light of the strategic goals of the country, and then how to manage these missions to have these objectives into the scene. So that's the rule. From the perspective of the cooperation, for example, with the Japan or the cooperation with China.
The report, for instance, prepared by our colleagues, mentioned the launch of the second satellite, Narrowscope 2, that was back in 2019 from Japan to the ISS.
Yeah. For this type of launch, for the LEO satellites or the low orbit satellites, because this type of cooperation between the agencies, why we do this cooperation? Because we need a country that supports us in the launching, a country that supports us in the design. We can design the payload, or the part which is the monitor part, the major part of the satellite, but they are already did a lot and long experience exercise on the satellite model itself. So this cooperation means we can take their experience side, the reference model, and we can put our model on top of it. We test it together in their labs or in our labs. So this type of cooperation, if you now manage to have satellites with 20% Egyptian contribution, day after day it will be 30, then 40, then 50, and so on. Then you can manage to have your own fully made satellite in Egypt. And this could be one of the goals. But now in the world, nobody design everything, nobody manufacture everything. You are manufacturing the block or the module which is functional module for you. If I'm doing a remote sense, then I need to design the camera. If I'm doing weather station, a weather sense, then I would like to develop the infrared sensors or whatsoever, or the hyperspectral camera. This is what we call the functional module.
So is there any specific area where you find the Egyptian Space Agency or Egypt as in relation to the field of space technology that we are advanced in or special in or designing, having a role in the design of any specific area?
Yeah, the specific area is the what I see today is the advanced labs for testing of the flight model of the satellites, because we have any satellite has a flight model and has also an engineering model. Engineering model is the model which is after design we need to test it a lot. Several testing is applied on it. The flight model is the model that replica the space unit, which is the model which is going to be put into space. We have two types or two models of this flight. One kept on Earth, and one put into space. To do this, we need a lot of testing, a lot of. What I see now in these 5 years, which is a short time, Egyptian Space Agency has a good footprint on that. They managed to have this type of labs, which is difficult to manage, difficult to get, by the way, and they do this vibration testing and this simulation of the space environment here in Egypt, which is, for me, it's a good evolution in this.
Right.
This is, yeah. Also, to do, as I mentioned, a cooperation with another country to launch a satellite like Horus or whatsoever, this is also a success criteria. But for any criteria to develop any space mission, you have a minimum success criteria, you have a full success criteria, you have an advanced success criteria. So you can achieve the minimum success criteria, you can work towards the full success criteria, but again, you need to exert more and more effort as a space agency, because now we are in the middle of the way, and you have a lot of challenges in front of you, and you get your labs, you manage to put this, you manage to have a good educational arm, you manage, but again, you need to have a lot of satellites in orbits to protect your resources, to understand more observing the Earth. Why not to have some mission to the moon? We have one of the key projects that we prepared this year, which is in collaboration with the space agency, which is the space rover on the moon, for example. We did this as a preparation at the research, and now we are talking with the China side to have a footprint on their mission to apply this, what we call a technology demonstration. We need to demonstrate our technology in the space, so we make use of this cooperation to send this type of models to the space, even to the moon. When I was in Japan, I attend some missions to the moon. I see it, and we managed to get data from it, and we managed to control it. This is done live on the moon, so the moon is not away from our reach as a space technology. A lot of arms is doing this. We can imagine that how you put a space object leaving the Earth and then navigate through the space, going to the moon, a lot of distance, and then orbiting around the moon till it reach a good position, then land to the moon, then doing the mission. Can you imagine? And this is I attended personally, so I see these views and this mission, and now you can make use by this relationship. If you have a technology and you need to demonstrate it, then you can use this cooperation, and you can arrange and secure the funds and secure the everything and demonstrate the technology. Might fail, might succeed, but if it succeeds, you learn, and if it fails, you also learn, and then you can do more and more improvements. So this is the research. You cannot restrict your research to the labs. The labs is good, but it is not enough. You need to demonstrate your technology. You need to go really to the space. You need to know and understand that the space is not luxury. Space means a lot of things. I can tell you that for example, these missions to the moon now, if you are talking about the lunar calendar,
Yes.
you know the lunar calendar which we build, for example, in the Islamic countries, we
Yes.
need the Hijri calendars. So this calendar, we can make use of the space for the accurate detection of the moon phases. And this is a project that we did also. And we are preparing to doing some demonstration on it with the Chinese side. Technology, real demonstrations, to have a satellite, and this satellite, when it orbits the moon, it can give us on Earth an accurate detection of the phases of the moon. So you can detect accurately, without a telescope from the Earth, you can detect accurately the start of the Hijri month
Without a telescope.
without a telescope. So this is not luxury. This is becoming a mandatory, especially for the country, Arabic
Islamic
countries, and
countries,
Islamic
yes.
countries. So, and now, and not only
For the
this,
fasting and so on.
yeah, for the not only this,
Yeah.
you know that the marine navigation depends on the lunar motions.
Right.
Even the anticipation of earthquakes.
Right.
All of this. So
Right.
it is not only important file for the Islamic countries, anymore for the whole world. The
Especially with the global warming going
yeah,
on
the
right
global
now,
warming, the ocean level of water, the tsunamis, all of this, there is a relation between the moon in its orbit and the Earth, because the gravity of the moon is impacting the Earth. So to detect these phases and to have such type of satellites, and this is, by the way, patented to us as an Egyptian technology now, if it succeeds. So this is, what is missing now? What is missing is technology demonstration. What enabled the technology demonstration? This type of cooperation that we are talking about. So that's the case.
Right. Now, finally, and very briefly, Dr. Yussef, because we're almost out of time, the field of space technology, is it the field where we can expect breakthroughs, major breakthroughs, surprises very soon, or is it a field that's taking its strides slowly but surely, and we're discovering things, you know, decade by decade? And
We are expecting surprises and revolutions, let's say revolutions, in the findings out of the space and the capability to doing a mission in the space. So we are expecting a lot, even manned or unmanned missions. We have manned missions on the international space. A lot of experiments is doing in the International Space Station. Can imagine that now, for example, the pharmaceutical and the drug innovations is becoming, may find a revolution, just only if you do this research in the space.
wow.
Because in the space you have a lot of parameters, like the microgravity, which is the absence of, not absence, microgravity, it's semi-absence of gravity. Also the space environment, which is you have the full spectrum of the sun, not the shaded spectrum, because what it reaches on Earth is not the full spectrum. You have you have a plasma, so you have a space environment which enable the research in the space to be different. So the revolution will not be in the space only. The revolution will touch every and each subject of science.
Wow.
So chemistry, pharmaceutical, agriculture,
So
everything.
it's not a luxury anymore,
Yeah.
just like you said. Dr. Khaled Yussef, the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Navigation Sciences and Space Technology at Beni Suef University. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to have you with us.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And thank you, dear viewers, for watching Business Insider.